bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? How you doing? How you doing? It's Fade to Black. It's Thursday. It's Fader Night. Open lines all night long. This is truly bespoke radio for the masses. Today is Thursday, June 16th, 168 days into the new year, 198 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, The Planet. I'm your so humble host, Jimmy Church. What's cracking, everybody? Tonight is Fader Night. Jon Rappoport is going to be here with his No More Fake newsroom at the bottom of the hour. It's open lines all night long, 323-825-5045. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. You know what to do. Just go to the website, click. We all know what to do by now. You can email throughout the show. Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. The sandbox in Twitter is hashtag F2B. Come and hang out with us. It is a real-time interactive show. We have chat rooms, the KGRA chat room, speaker chat room, Twitter, and Starbucks. How you doing? Any questions or comments during the show tonight? For myself, even Jon Rappoport. That's hashtag F2BQ. All right. Chat rooms are getting warmed up. Look at this. You know, a few seconds in, bam, everybody's here. Bam. See, the chat room's closed until I open it. You know, I'm just going to, you know what? I'm going to do this in real time because they're listening to me right now. They think I ignore them. So listen to me type. Hey, what's up? Now they know. What's up, everybody? I'm in a great mood. It is Thursday, and as everybody knows, you know, and especially after the week that we've had here, I mean, it says so much and means so much to me to say that Thursday night is my favorite night of the week. I get to hang out with all of you, take your phone calls on all night, and just have conversation. It's the best part of the show. And for everybody new that is here for the first time tonight, you know, you've heard about Fade to Black, and now you're here checking it out. Thursday nights, no guest. Thursday night is Jon Rappoport in here reporting in his No More Fake newsroom, which we're going to do at 7:30, 25 minutes. And then after that, we open up the phone lines, and it's all about you. It's about the family. 323-825-5045. All subjects are open. I feel so horrible for the city of Orlando today. And to just say that it's been a rough week for Florida and Orlando, that's just a stupid statement to make. It's been a bad week for Orlando. And so obviously that's going to be a subject tonight. I have no issues. Call in. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think is going on. I mean, for that to go down, boom, boom, boom. Oh, man, I guess nearly 3 nights in a row. Man alive. So anyway, that's a big subject. There's all kinds of things to talk about tonight. Now, also, for those of you, I do want to talk with anybody that was at Contact in the Desert that saw the strange goings-on in the skies that night. I've got lots of email. There was from witnesses out there. Call in. I want to hear exactly what you saw. Right now, on Sunday night, on June 5th, there is a report now out in the mainstream media. I think it hit MUFON, National UFO Reporting Center as well, I believe. But it made the local news out here about a pilot that said he was doing some cat and mouse with an orb in the sky over San Bernardino. Now, here we call it San Bernardino. It's San Bernardino. Is right there, just south and west. I mean, right there in the desert, next to Joshua Tree. And now we had the rash of sightings was Saturday night, June 4th. That myself and Rita and others have reported on hundreds. But Sunday night, we had a party over at the Fader House. And that night, a friend of ours, Javier Sandoval, showed up with his night vision equipment. And we had a lot of people there. Mike Barra was there. Richard Dolan was there. David Wilcock was there. Corey Good was there. Beth Leone, who was with us last night on the show, she was there. Lori McDonald was there. Holly Cook was there. Mark Walsh was there. And those are all researchers that happened to be at the Fader House. Yeah, the Fader House was the place to be Sunday night in Joshua Tree, no doubt. But I saw myself and Richard Dolan shared the night vision goggles that night. I think Barra got in on it, but Richard and I watched this orb scoot across the sky, and it was heading to the west towards San Bernardino. So there you go. Now, I think we'd have to go back and look at the video and figure out and the timestamps of everything, but I'm thinking it was nighttime at that point, so it had to have been sometime after 8:30, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night when we had that sighting. So anyway, any witnesses to anything over that weekend, please call in tonight. I would like to hear exactly what you saw. All right, there you go. Don't forget our sponsors, Life Change Tea, getthetea.com. Help support the show. Help change your life. Help be like me, because I know you want to be like me, because I feel good. I feel great. And all of my friends, my family, everybody that works here at Fade to Black, we're all on the Life Change Tea program. Go now. GetTheTea.com. Click on the banner, Jimmy Church Radio. Use the promo code Jimmy, Jimmy. You can do that over the phone or online, and you get free shipping. Ronnie has got one of the best established, great companies out there. Organic, the best. And that's rare today. I fully stand behind everything that Ronnie does. So there you go. Use the promo code Jimmy. Go to the specials page. That's what I would do. He's got everything there for you. And then you get free shipping on the order. Also, Studio Dome, another great company that we have also an established relationship with that goes back. One of the owners there I've known for 30 years. Their products are amazing. And the special that they have for the FADERNIGHT, 2 SB-B2 speakers, a high-fidelity stereo, true wireless stereo Bluetooth speaker package, best deal on the net. Comes in a hard shell case, $129. Just use the promo code JCRTWS, 60% off the normal price of $399. It sounds unbelievable. That's because it is, and it's for the FADERNIGHTs. And on top of all of that savings, the system that you get is incredible. But on top of all of that savings, you can also get free shipping. $129 is all you're going to spend. Just go to the banners right now at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code is in the banner, JCRTWS. That's what you use when you check out. Okay, here we go. Let's get this show cracking. Roswell Festival is kicking off June 30th through July 3rd. We're going to be there in less than 2 weeks. If you want to attend, if you can help Fade to Black out, we're putting together a Fade to Black crew. You're going to get your own Fade to Black crew t-shirt. That right there is worth the price of admission. But if you're going to the festival and you want to help us out and be part of the crew, be part of the celebrity, hang out with everybody, contact us. Contact us through the website with Rita. Shoot her an email, and we'll get things worked out for you, okay? And then the Awareness Life Expo, Crown Plaza Hotel. Got an email today from somebody. Dude, man, the Awareness Life Expo. I want to come hang out. Exactly. Look, it's August 13th and 14th. And let me check. I'm going to do one thing really quick. Rita, confirm the Friday date for us because that's a private event. If you could just shoot that in here to me. The Friday event is, I'm looking here. Oh, I got to go. How do I advance? Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, the 12th. So it's August 12th, 13th, and 14th. August 12th is a private get-together. But we are, it's a mixer, right? But we are going to broadcast from that private mixer. So you're going to want to get your tickets and get things set up now. So it's August 12th, 13th, and 14th. Crown Plaza Hotel, Sacramento, California. Yes, Rita just hit me. Friday is a limited VIP package. It's only going to be 50 people there. And that's it. We're going to broadcast to 50 people. How cool is that? Intimate. And you want to do it. August 13th. That's the 12th. August 12th, 13th, and 14th. Richard Dolan, Lori McDonald, Victor Camacho, Patty Greer, Holly Cook, Len Kasten. All right, let's get this show cracking. Today, John Cho is 44. Yeah, he played Harold Lee in Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. There's another pot smoker movie for all of you potheads out there. Daniel Bruhl is 38. Rita told me no more pot references tonight, so I just got one out. I got one out. I consider that a slip. I was warned, but it's Harold and Kumar, so I have to make an honest reference. Okay, so I'm not doing anything after the Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle and them smoking pot. That part is, I'm not, okay, all right, no more pot references. Our dead guys, Daniel Bruhl today is 38, and he played, check this out, he played Frederick Zoller, the German war hero dude in Inglourious Bastards. One of the great movies. Daniel Bruhl, 38. Our dead guy's birthday today is Tupac. 1971 to 1996. Died, murdered at the age of 25. And obviously he was one of the more notable figures in that 1990s East Coast, West Coast hip-hop rivalry. He released 4 albums between 91 and 96, eventually selling over 75 million albums worldwide. He was killed in a drive-by shooting after watching Mike Tyson fight in Las Vegas. And the murder obviously still unsolved, but allegedly, the shooting was carried out by a Compton gang member called the Southside Compton gang called the Southside Crips to avenge the beating of one of its members by Shakur a few hours earlier. Orlando Anderson, his name, the Crip who Shakur had attacked, fired the fatal shots. Las Vegas police discounted Anderson as a suspect and interviewed him only once, briefly. He was later killed in an unrelated gang shooting. There you go. Happy birthday, Tupac. On this day in history, 1963, something else that allegedly happened. Yeah, It was on this day, June 16th, 1963, aboard Vostok 6. Soviet cosmonaut Valentina Tereshkova becomes the first woman to travel in space, allegedly. After 48 orbits and 71 hours, she returned to Earth, having spent more time in space than all of the U.S. astronauts combined to that date. Allegedly. Fader fact, in 1984. Now, all of my friends in New Zealand right now that are listening, I need you guys to tweet in, and I want you to tweet in real time. Australia counts too, okay? But this is a vetted Fader fact. I vetted it as far as I could take it, and I was shocked. In 1984, New Zealand's Prime Minister, Robert Muldoon, got drunk, really drunk, and then decided to spontaneously call a general election. And he did it on TV, drunk, and he lost. And that is a Fader fact. So everybody in New Zealand right now in Australia, tell me, did that really? I mean, that's what the media. That's what's out there right now. Did that really go down like the media said that it did? I read so many reports today that he was absolutely 100% visibly drunk live on TV. Called for a general election. It turned out that what I had read today, he didn't even need it. You know, it was unneeded, but he did it anyway, and he lost. So I just want to hear from my friends in Australia that were alive back then that remember that. That is just hilarious. All right. Where am I? There you go. All right. Thank you, guys. Tonight is Fader Night. Jon Rappoport is going to be here in a few minutes with his No More Fake Newsroom. And then we'll be taking your calls, 323-825-5045. I had mentioned at the top of the show about everything that has gone down in Orlando this past week. Horrible. Okay? And we've lost sight of a few things. And one of the main things that we have managed to lose sight of, and it's because of the mass media, it's because of Washington, it's because of a lot of things. I'm going to get to that in a second. But the fact that the Pulse, a gay nightclub, and 49 people, mostly gay men, were shot and killed. They want to argue and fight and talk about anything except for the families of the people that died. And it's rubbing me the wrong way. Now, I don't understand how not only it's not only Hillary and Trump and the media and Washington and the alternative media, the ones that we depend on the most. Obama, McCain is now all in on this. That all of them have started this crazy infighting over something that they're infighting over the wrong issue. What they need to do is they need to infight who's going to get invited to the funerals and who's going to go out there and speak and who's going to support the families and what's going to happen. A lot of those men were even married. What's going to happen to their spouses? You know, what about, you know, their direct lives? What about the companies that they worked for or owned? That's the focus. I just don't get it. It's amazing to me. And we are allowing it to happen. I'm putting my foot down right now. It's irritating. And it's not right. It's not right. I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't have a friend or a family member, or I've never gone to Pulse. You know, it's not even the point. And I don't need to have that to understand what morally is correct. I mean, as a human being, what you do here. Right now, with everything that has surfaced in the tragic events that happened in the city of Orlando in the past week, which was, a young 2-year-old boy gets attacked by an alligator. It's insane to me. We need to figure out exactly what we need to worry about in this country, because that is a tragedy. We had the singer from The Voice that was shot on Friday night. Craziness. Saturday night, The Pulse. And one of the things, and I'm serious, nobody wants to talk about the obvious. Let me tell you what the obvious thing is. Forget about Disneyland and Disney World. Do you want me to tell you what the happiest place on earth is? Any gay club in America. And the Pulse nightclub, that is the one place where that community can get together and be safe and have fun. Let me tell you something. The rules are, at a gay club, you have fun. We are here to have fun. That's the funnest, coolest place on earth. There, I said it. And it's the truth. It is the truth. And so the atmosphere that is in on that club, those are happy, fun, carefree. That's where they go. I'm saying they because you know exactly what I'm saying. And to have that kind of environment interrupted with 49 deaths and another 50 people shot is insane to me. It's a true mood breaker. And it's their one place, man. It's that last safe place for them. It's where they can get together and just not worry about the rest of their assholes in the country. And then to have it happen like that. So to have Washington and Hillary and Trump and the media and Obama and the law enforcement screw all of this up and lose sight of what is the reality of the situation. Because right now, it's those in Washington and law enforcement and mass media that are to blame here. Hillary wants to treat this as a gun control issue. Immediately, the liberals. So now it's a gun control thing. No, it's not. And Trump, he wants to make it's a Muslims and closing the borders issue. It's not. It's simply not. It's crazy how these two that are running for office can be so on the opposite sides of the fence of a central issue about something like what just went down in Orlando. How wrong can they be? And neither of them is right. And then you have the media that wants to make it an ISIS issue. And they can't. They cannot. You can't make it an ISIS issue unless ISIS is on your side. And ISIS is not anywhere close to this. The shooter tried to make it an ISIS issue. But ISIS wants nothing to do with it. Washington is saying things like, it's not our problem. We didn't do anything wrong. Of course, you got the NRA involved. You've got the administration and what's going on in the Middle East involved. So Washington is going to blame everybody but themselves. But they're ignoring the actual issues. They don't want to talk about it being a gay nightclub. They don't want to do that. Nobody does. The alternative media jumping in, saying it's another false flag operation. And it may be, I don't know. But they're not talking about the central issues. If it is a false flag operation, then why a gay nightclub? Talk about that, alternative media, but they can't and they won't. Obama wants to take the position of it's tragic. But he's not accepting any blame. And I'm telling you right now, if I'm Obama, I stand front and center and say, you know what? I got to accept some responsibility here. You know why? He's the boss. He's the president of the United States. This happened here. On his watch, it's his fault, no matter how it went down. And then you have McCain who's saying it's tragic. but it's Obama's fault. Came out and said that today. It's crazy. And nobody really wants to talk about the families, the victims, and why it happened when it happened. The actual issues. They want to point fingers. They want to point blame. But nobody wants to step up. Well, I am. We had the Boston bombing. Nothing done. Mixed up kids. Fort Hood. Nothing done. Absolutely nada. Nada ras. Nothing. Oh, it's just a crazy gunman. Yeah, right. San Bernardino comes along. Nothing. They cracked a cell phone. Nothing done. Absolutely nothing. Now we have Orlando. And here's an opportunity for all of us to get together as a country and to finally stand up and start to do what's right. And I can promise you, with all of this infighting among those who should have some answers for all of the families that have been taken down, for the rest of the country that is freaking out right now, rightly so, I can assure you that nothing at all will be done. Next week, it'll be status quo, business as usual. Orlando will be behind us. The last of the shooting victims are going to be buried. Those that were in the hospital are going to be released. It's going to be a fading news story, and it's going to be over with. It's sad. It's an opportunity for all of us to get together and finally do something and do what's right. And I don't have all of the answers. I never claim that. But certainly, as a nation, we can sit down and talk about it and try to figure something out. Let's hear all sides. But next week, we'll be on to another news story. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'm going to be back in a few short minutes with the one and only Jon Rappoport. And I don't know what John's going to talk about tonight, but I have the feeling it's going to be somewhere around the great state of Florida. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. You can follow me on Twitter right now, @JChurchRadio. Use the hashtag F2B for the sandbox. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network in KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I gotta tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. Doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil three-letter. So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Health in America is becoming a top priority. Or maybe I should say, good health in the world is becoming a top priority. Maintaining a healthy body can be challenging. How about letting Life Change Tea help you? Our tea you make, you drink, and you benefit. Our unique blend of 8 different herbs helps you maintain good digestion, a healthy colon, and detoxes harmful toxins and parasites out of your body. And you know what? It tastes great. If you're wanting a change, a life change when it comes to health, log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Or you can call us at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. When you log on to our mobile-friendly website, you can read all the numerous testimonies of how Life Change Tea has helped so many people. We carry many, many beneficial products that help your health and keep you on track. GetTheTea.com. Kind of gets in your head, doesn't it? GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Klutsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fadernaughts rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake Newsroom in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every day by the Ministry of Truth is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash. They all go down and we see the light of day, a new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake Newsroom with John Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. Lots to report on tonight. Going to jump right in. It's the Orlando shooting. Okay, first I want to read a brief quote to you from the New Yorker magazine, June 10, 2016. Quote, Michael German, a former FBI agent who researches national security law at New York University's Brennan Center for Justice, told the Times they, the FBI, are manufacturing terrorism cases. Manufacturing terrorism cases. Okay, so let's start off with 6 items here about the Orlando shooting that are unresolved issues. They don't fit the narrative. Square peg, round hole. One witness says 5 shooters. These witnesses I'm talking about do not appear to be deranged. They're on video. They give statements. Another witness says, during the shooting in the club in Orlando, there was one man who was blocking the door and not letting people out. This was not the shooter, or not one of the 5 shooters. There is video posted on YouTube of people with no visible wounds or blood being carried away from the scene of the club. They all, 2 to 3 of these people, they have what? Leg wounds, they can't walk. There is no blood. There is no sign of a visible wound. Who are these people? Are they really part of what happened in the club, whatever that was? Strange. Story of shooting in Orlando posted 6 hours before it happened. Chicago Sun-Times Syndicate. I saw a screenshot of this with the dateline 6 hours before it happened. Now, can screenshots be fabricated or manipulated? I assume so. I assume they can, so maybe that's what this is. but it is certainly worth looking into. Story of shooting posted 6 hours before it happened. And this is of a wire syndicate which puts out news to many, many media outlets. The shooter, Omar Mateen's wife, says that Omar spent thousands of dollars in the weeks before the event, the shooting. This included buying guns, legitimately, apparently buying guns. Where did this money come from, if this statement is true? Thousands in the weeks before the bombing. She also said that Omar texted her from the bathroom inside the club where he was holed up during the shooting. He was holed up in the bathroom during the shooting? If that's the case, then why didn't everybody escape at that time? Or did they? Apparently not. I haven't seen any video of huge floods of people coming out all at once. Another unresolved issue. So those are 6 points right off the top, which indicate there is more to this story than we're being led to believe, much more. Now we get down to some of the more, what I would call, crucial issues here. Omar Mateen's father apparently visited the White House on several occasions. I've seen pictures of him there, photos. He has been heavily involved in so-called Afghanistan expatriate groups in the U.S. The family is Afghan. He has also been involved in delivering Voice of America broadcasts, and Voice of America has long been known to be a kind of a front for the CIA. So is Omar Mateen's father a CIA asset? He's not just a dad. Something much further is going on with this guy. The FBI investigated the shooter, Mateen, 2 to 3 times in the years leading up to the shooting. Each time they let the investigation drop. Now, at the time, and for many years, the shooter, Mateen, was working for G4S, the biggest security company in the world, 620,000 employees, formerly known as Wackenhut. And that name may be familiar to some of you because they have been involved in many scandals over the years. G4S knew that the FBI was investigating Mateen in 2013, and they did nothing. They didn't fire him. They transferred him, but they kept him on staff. And these are late-breaking tidbits here. The company did no new psych evaluation of Mateen after the FBI investigation. How is this possible for the biggest security company in the world? Unless, perhaps, G4S and the FBI were possibly warned off of Mateen, that all parties were told, this guy is part of an operation. Hands off. Leave him in place. We want him to be in place. Do not disturb. Do not expose anything that could be considered his cover story. I'm not saying I know this is the case, but this is very suspect. In other words, was he part of some kind of FBI operation to stage a terror event, because the FBI does manufacture terrorism? One way they do it is they use discontented people who are already somewhat radicalized with various kinds of violent ideas about terrorism, committing terrorism, possibly. They push them over the edge. They urge them on. They even supply them with weapons. More about that in a minute. And then in some cases, they stop the terror event from happening at the last minute, make arrests, and look good. This is their job, after all. So if there are no terror attacks, they have to manufacture them. Or do they always stop these events from happening before they occur? Do they? And therefore, I want to present to you now a case of this kind, which I reported on several years ago, more than once. A man named Imad Salem, who was part of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. Yes, there was a bombing in 1993, a truck bomb under the North Tower, which killed 6 people and injured more than 1,000. Now, this was a gigantic operation because the intent was to collapse one tower, the North Tower, into the south and bring both towers down. We are talking about, something on the scale, exact scale of 9/11. The bomb did not do all of the damage that it was supposed to do. And Imad Salem, a former Egyptian military officer, whereabouts currently unknown, was deeply involved. And now I want to read to you from, got so many notes here, my story about Imad Salem. Okay, we have a book called Willful Blindness by Andrew McCarthy, who was a federal attorney that prosecuted the 1993 World Trade Center bombing case. And a review of the book states, intimately reveals the real story behind the FBI's inability to stop the event. Even though the Bureau had an undercover informant in the operation, the jihadist's supposed bomb maker, that's Imad Salem. In the first sentence of his hard-hitting account, the author, McCarthy, sums up the lawyerly but staggeringly incomprehensive reason why the FBI pulled its informant out of the terrorist group even as plans were coming to a head on a major attack. Quote, think of the liability. The first rule for government attorneys and counterintelligence in the 1990s was, McCarthy tells us, avoid accountable failure. Unbelievable. It gets much worse. Okay. Former Egyptian Army officer Imad Salem. On October 23, 1993, Ralph Blumenthal wrote a piece about Imad Salem for the New York Times. It began, law enforcement officials were told that terrorists were building a bomb that was eventually used to blow up the World Trade Center, and they planned to thwart the plotters by secretly substituting harmless powder for the explosives, an informer, Imad Salem, said after the blast. The informer was to have helped the plotters build the bomb and supply the fake powder, but the plan was called off by an FBI supervisor who had other ideas about how the informer, Imad A. Salem, should be used, the informer said. The FBI called the plan off, but left the planners to their own devices. I'm now writing this as my words. No harmless powder, instead, real explosives. So in other words, what we're looking at here, according to the informant, is We had this whole thing in operation. The FBI was supposed to provide harmless powder to be used in the bomb. The idea was to push this thing to the brink and then stop it at the last second, make arrests, and, celebrate keeping people safe. FBI becomes the hero. The Times article goes on. The account, which is given in the transcript of hundreds of hours of tape recordings Mr. Salem secretly made of his talks with law enforcement agents, portrays the authorities as in a far better position than previously known to foil the February 26, 1993 bombing of New York City's tallest towers. And then I write, this is a shockingly strong opening for an article in the New York Times. It focuses on the testimony of the informant. It seems to take his side. Several years after reporter Blumenthal wrote the above piece for the Times, I spoke with him and expressed my amazement at the revelations about the FBI and wondered whether the Times had continued to investigate the scandal. Blumenthal wasn't pleased, to say the least. He said I misunderstood the article. I mentioned the fact that Imad Salem wasn't called as a prosecution witness in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing trial. Again, Blumenthal told me I didn't understand. He became angry, and that was the end of the conversation. And I can tell you, he was very angry. Very arrogant, very much like, what are you talking about? You don't understand this at all. What's not to understand? Okay, here is an excerpt from one of those tapes that Imad Salem made when he was secretly bugging his own FBI handlers. On this phone call, he talks to his bureau friend, John. Others have claimed this is an agent named John Antisev, FBI agent. Conversation is taking place at some point after the 1993 bombing. The main topic is Salem's fees for services rendered as an informant and apparently as a bomb maker. He apparently wants more money, wants to make sure the Bureau will pay him what they've agreed to. During the conversation, he suddenly talks about the bomb. His English is broken, but the meaning is clear enough. When he finishes, his bureau handler, John, just moves on without directly responding. Boggling. Okay, here's what Salem says on the tape. We was start already building the bomb, which went off in the World Trade Center. It was built by supervision from the Bureau and the DA, and we was all informed about it, and we know that the bombs start to be built. By who? By your confidential informant. What a wonderful, great case. He's talking about himself as a confidential informant. According to Salem, I write, there was a bomb. It was built under FBI and, quote, DA supervision. Salem himself built it, and it exploded. I mean, come on. This is one of those things, folks, where you read a story in the mainstream and you can't believe it. You just sit there and you say, I'm reading this wrong. I have to go back and read it again. This couldn't be what I'm reading. And then you do, and it is what you're reading. And nobody seems to be paying any attention to it. New York Times. Nobody picks up on this story. No other major media outlet lets the hounds loose and says, my God, this is the biggest scandal in recent times in America. We have to investigate down to the ground on this. We have to put our reporters out there and begin to push and insist on government people coming forward and accounting for their actions. FBI, Department of Justice, etc., etc. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Wow. So this is why I say, the FBI stages these things. And because of the very strange omissions in the case of Omar Mateen. Investigated 2-3 times by the FBI. They let the whole thing drop. He was able to buy guns legally, spent thousands of dollars apparently in the weeks before the bombing. While the FBI was investigating him, a G4S, the biggest security company in the world, knew that the FBI was investigating him. They absolutely knew it, and they did nothing. They didn't fire the guy. They didn't do a new psych eval on him. Why not? Why not? I mean, these are not trivial people we're talking about here. We're talking about the FBI. We're talking about the biggest security company in the world, and they just let all this go. Why? And so what I'm pointing to here as a reasonable and potential explanation is that even then, Omar Mateen may have been involved in one of these FBI operations to foment, as it were, some kind of terrorist event with the intention of stopping it before it occurred, or, as apparently in the case of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, pulling out and letting it happen. Boggling. Absolutely boggling. Now, of course, the mainstream press is not looking into the Mateen situation either. Not into any of the 6 points I raised at the beginning here, nor into the deeper background story about terrorism, manufacturing terrorism, and was Omar Mateen involved in all of that. We don't see anything happening on that score, and my prediction is that we will not see anything from mainstream media on that. They're just going to leave it alone. But as I've been showing you in my Thursday reports here on Fade to Black, the major media are allied with their own sources, in this case, the FBI, Department of Justice. And so because they are allied and because they get their information, then in the most dire stories with the biggest scandals, they inevitably back off because their bread and butter is all about their sources. And then going much higher on the food chain to the top of the ownership of these media corporations, we are now talking about men who are completely entwined with those who run things in this country, who run things in the world, who stage events, who manipulate events, who have agendas, who want to sow chaos, who want to destabilize societies because their ultimate agenda is to remake the world in their own image, and that requires massive amounts of chaos and destabilization, which they then come in behind of or from, and they impose their world order, the one that they want, the one that they control. So that's the deal, folks. That's what's out of the hopper so far on the Orlando shooting, and it is mind-boggling. And then I'll just drop one quick bit on the shooting today of the British MP, and a story that will be out soon at No More Fake News raises the issue in this case of the violence-producing effects of psychiatric drugs on an inherently unstable individual. So you might want to take a look tomorrow at No More Fake News and read up on that. And that is my report from the No More Fake Newsroom for tonight, and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, John, and absolutely riveted to every word. But as the audience listens to this, and the original World Trade Center bombing is now, it's a distant memory. But if we go back and remember, everybody with the soot coming out of their noses and their eyes and what happened, on the streets there, it was a failed attempt to bring down the building, but that doesn't diminish the fact that it was completely set up by the FBI and that the bomb components were not changed before that, as so requested and promised, and the FBI literally said, you know what, just let it go.
Just let it go. And of course, 6 people killed, over 1,000 injured. So
right.
Even though, it didn't bring down everything, it certainly caused some major havoc.
And for some reason, that case and those that were guilty, and certainly the FBI in general, was swept under the rug, and the real details and the true facts of the case weren't allowed to propagate. They leaked out a little bit, and then they were stamped out like ants on a sidewalk.
That's right. And that often happens, well, I wouldn't say often, occasionally happens in major media where, as I said, you read a story, you're completely boggled, and you start thinking, well, if this is true, then that would follow, and that would follow, and the guilty parties would really be the FBI and so on and so forth. And then you wait for the follow-up stories, and now you see that the whole thing is totally squelched from the top of the food chain, and nobody utters a word more about it.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting here. And before I let you go, John's website, of course, is nomorefakenews.com. That should be the start of everybody's day, is right there, like mine, nomorefakenews.com. But the story that was ready about Orlando that the mass media ran with out of the gate, it was obviously prepared. You could feel it, and it just didn't work out as the days rolled forward. The entire ISIS angle and him being a radicalized ISIS guy under instructions from Syria didn't work out for them. And I had warned everybody, just like you are now, there is more to this case. And I think this time it is not in their control. Too much has come out now that they won't be able to bend the story back in their direction. And it's pretty interesting how, for once, we're getting more of the truth through the alternative media than we are the mass media, our politicians, our own chief of state, and so forth. That is not working out for them this time.
Absolutely not. That's right. That's right.
Thank you so much, John, and I'll talk to you over the weekend. But until then, man, sleep with one eye open, okay?
Thank you, Jimmy. Always great to be here with you.
You got it. Jon Rappoport, everybody. NoMoreFakeNews.com. It should be the start of everyone's day. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Fader Night. Thank you, Jon Rappoport. Now, open lines, 323-825-5045. It's Thursday night. It's Fader Night. It's all about you. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. On the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet, this is Fade to Black. I'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of this product.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help so it has the tools to heal itself.
To order your 2-month supply, call now toll-free 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
Imagine no longer being tied down to your computer, but having the freedom to take live talk radio with you anywhere you go. TalkStream Live introduces our first ever iPhone application. The talk shows you follow now follow you, and your iPhone is now the fastest and easiest way to stay connected to the best talk radio on the internet. Let TalkStream Live transform the way you listen to radio. Listen to live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mobile talk radio from TalkStream Live. Now available in the iTunes App Store.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Thursday night, Fader Night, open lines, 323-825-5045. You can also email Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. And any questions or comments during the show, use the hashtag F2BQ. And I'm looking over here. I lost the show. I'm on call to listen line. There you go. I wonder if Jimmy will have a false flag follow-up. That's from Walter. And then Lynn from Oz, she comes in with, here's another Fader fact about New Zealand, Jimmy. They were the first country to allow women to vote. Hey, there you go. That's a pretty good Fader fact. And then Ryan comes in with, who the fudge is Jimmy Church? And Ryan, of course, is our resident bong hitter. And I think he's hitting it a little earlier tonight. Okay, so that's the start of everything. Okay, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com, that's the email. And I want to go back to what Walter just said about a false flag follow-up. My take on, I've said this over the years, so just let me refresh your memory, okay, so we can start on the right footing here. False flag originated with ships, pirate ships, okay? And you would see a ship off in the distance, and you wanted to get close to that ship and maybe rob it, take it over, steal it, kill the crew, whatever. And you see their flag, and then you raise an identical flag on your ship, so that ship sees you and goes, okay, it's a friendly. They pull up next to the other ship and do the nasty business that they have planned. That is a false flag, okay? Now, the modern version definition of false flag is now multifaceted. Okay, and when we say things like the Gulf of Tonkin, that being a false flag operation, well, that was about a United States Navy ship in the Gulf of Tonkin that our government said was attacked by the North Vietnamese, and we used that for the excuse to enter into the Vietnam War. When it turned out later that the North Vietnamese didn't do anything. So now, is that a false flag? No, again, there wasn't a flag that was raised and a ship that was no. But now it's kind of molded into one version of a false flag is that to create an event to have cause, to cause something to happen from that event, to create an event and stage an event. Okay, and another definition of false flag is to hide something from the truth and call that a false flag. Okay, and there are many examples of that. And another version of a false flag, like Sandy Hook. Okay, that again, there was no raising of a flag there. Was it a staged event or not? But that's why that was called a false flag. You have 9/11, to intentionally fly the airplanes into the buildings, bring them down, to use that as an excuse for an invasion of a country. Okay, and with 9/11, there's 5 other versions of what could have been a false flag there. Okay, so those are all versions of false flags, and there's more. I mean, so it's kind of a multi-use tool that you can apply to an event that seems a little funky. Okay, now going to Orlando, and I had said out of the gate, and I got email about this, about me calling it a false flag, which I didn't, by the way, but out of the gate, and that was uncharacteristic of me. Why would I do that? And so forth. No, I didn't call it a false flag. Could it be? I don't know. There's a lot of things that smell really funky about this. And as I stated at the beginning of the show, there are so many different positions now that are being taken around this. It just makes you wonder if it was done for a reason, if it could have been done with malice. I don't know. The one thing is for sure is that the way that the media treated it out of the gate, and that false narrative that they've tried to run with this week, has fallen apart. That's for sure. To have the Democrats and the Republicans and liberals and right wing and left wing and everything else and conservatives all take rapid stances, hard foot around this and pointing fingers also says to me that there's something strange going on here, because everybody is just ignoring what's true, which is now, this is the thing. 49 people died. And I am not going to, just like Sandy Hook or anything else, and certainly with 9/11, to go and scream false flag and conspiracy when first and foremost and in front is the deaths that have occurred and the families and everybody that has been affected because of it. I'm not going to be party to that. I'm just not. I'm not going to have some family member, some mother, some father, brother, sister contact me and go, dude, our said family member died in that, and we buried him today, and he is really dead. How dare you? I'm not going to be part of that. But what I will be part of is the way that our establishment is handling this situation, because something doesn't feel right. When it goes to so many things that have come to light and are falling apart, like the timestamps and the time zones. John referenced earlier today about something that was presented in the media about this 6 hours in advance. Now, I don't know if these are mistakes or if they're real or not, but when they stack up one after another, we have to back up and wonder what's going on. Now, first, foremost, front and center, On Monday, I made it very abundantly clear that after the weekend of listening to all of this ISIS stuff and looking at Omar Mateen's photograph with the duck lips, that was all the evidence that we need right now to know that things are not what they seem. That one singular photograph, for anybody that knows anything about culture today and what duck lips and jewelry and a pose and kissing for the camera like that means in popular culture, I can tell you what it does not mean. He was not a member of ISIS, and he wasn't a terrorist, and he wasn't a cold-blooded killer, because no self-respecting terrorist, cold-blooded killer, is going to post a picture like that. Not in a past life, not in a current life, not ever. It's not going to happen. So that's all the evidence that we need to know that it doesn't fit the narrative that we're being fed from everybody. And I had said on Monday, because of that photograph, and now it's all come to light since then. And look, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, okay? I just know duck lips when I see it. And when the FBI had him on their radar twice, interviewed twice, confidential informants on this guy for 10 months, an investigation on him. When you are on the FBI's radar and you get pulled in for an interview more than once, you've got issues. You've got stuff going on in your life that you need to probably be in jail for, maybe for life. Now, as I speak to this audience, I'm going to ask any one of you, have you ever been pulled in by the FBI to get interviewed because your name came up in an investigation? And the answer is probably 100% no. Because if your life ever gets to that stage where the FBI comes knocking on your door, you've got problems. And if they come back a second time and knock on your door, you are a bad person, and there's no excuse. But what's interesting here is the FBI decided to, for the first time ever in history, as far as I'm concerned, to listen to the accused and say, okay, we believe you. Because when has that ever happened? You get pulled in, you're accused of stealing a car. I didn't do it. Oh, you didn't? Okay, go home. There's the door. We'll let you go. I didn't steal the candy bar. You didn't? Oh, our bad. Go home. Grab some coffee on the way out. We have 10 people here that saw you steal the candy bar, but we're not going to believe them. We're going to believe you. Sorry for the inconvenience. It's never happened. Do you know how many people are in jail right now, today, that have not spoken to an attorney, been read their Miranda rights, anything? They're sitting in a jail right now just because the police put him there. And he or she is saying, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Oh, you didn't. Our bad. Let me get the keys. It's never happened. But the FBI wants us to believe this BS story, that everybody that had said that he wants to shoot, he wants to bomb, he wants to kill, he wants to do that, he is deranged, he's insane, he's this, he's that, he's ISIS, all of that. And the FBI pulls him in and says, the FBI themselves says, we interviewed him and didn't see an issue. Say what? Of course he's going to say he's innocent. So now we have something that smells really funky. And the FBI absolutely, in this case, right now today, is 100% responsible. Because they had him. Now, I'm not saying that they had a terrorist. I'm not saying that they had anything but the guy that shot up a nightclub. That's what they had. And he was on their radar. They had him. and they chose to let him go. The question is, why? Why? It was the duck lip photograph. That's why. He went in and talked to them, and they trailed him. They followed him for 10 months and saw him going in and out of the wrong nightclubs for a terrorist, right? Probably saw him with men, and that's not what a terrorist would do. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Of course not. But for a terrorist, it doesn't fit the method of operation, does it? Of course not. His talk, his speech, his mannerism. They knew that he had a personal life that didn't fit with ISIS. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Of course it does. And those are the issues that we have in front of us. And it doesn't fit what the mass media wants us to believe. It doesn't fit what Obama wants us to believe. Law enforcement, the FBI, not anything that is right now, because it is coming forward. We have witnesses at the club that are saying, dude, he's here all the time. He's here all the time. I hang out with him in a gay chat room online. He knows who I am. We've exchanged pictures. I know this guy. Wait a minute. A terrorist just doesn't do that. That's not the undercover operation that you're going to get assigned by ISIS. And I will say this, and I'm not making light of anything here, folks, and I'm not a stand-up comedian, but I'll tell you the truth. Right now, some ISIS commander, right, running some underground operation, comes up to and he says, hey, Saeed, come here. Okay, this is your mission. You're going to go in to a gay nightclub for a couple of years. So what? Yeah. And you need to have a couple of boyfriends because you're going to be deep undercover. Okay. Yeah. So, and in this, you may be in a position that, you may have to do some things. Well, like what? Well, you're going to have to be, you're going to have to play the part. Wait. Allah doesn't want me to do. No, Allah's cool with that. You're going to do this for us. No. It ain't going to happen. Ever. And that's not the operation that this Omar guy was doing. He was not participating in gay chat rooms and gay nightclubs and a gay lifestyle because he wasn't gay. That he was doing this in the name of ISIS so he could die and martyr himself and go get his 72 virgins in the end. No, that's not the game here. The guy was just gay. And ISIS cannot claim this guy. They can't say anything else. Now, what I am saying to you right now, if that is indeed the case, the mass media is not going to talk about this. Washington's not going to talk about this. The FBI is not going to talk about it. Nobody's going to talk about this. But it's probably the truth. Why? Because it's the simplest situation. Now, let me take it one step further. The FBI knows this. Now, how does this tie into a false flag operation? Well, the FBI literally has this guy by the balls. And they don't want, he does not, Omar, can't be exposed. It's going to take down his family. It's going to take down everything. He's got this lifestyle that he doesn't want. And the FBI knows this. And the CIA or any other organization is going to take advantage of this troubled young man. And just maybe he was their patsy. I had said on Monday, nobody would, that this kind of guy wouldn't fit the mold in a false flag operation because it just doesn't make any sense. So it would be the wrong guy. But now that I've thought about it, I've spoke to some other researchers out there, and I talked to Rappaport about this too as well. And that is, you know what? Actually, I talked to Jim Mars about this off of the air, that he would almost be the perfect guy for an operation like this. Think about it. And I had to step back and go, in my uncovering of all of this, that one duck lip photograph, that is like the simplest way to put all of this together, isn't it? And I had to step back and go, there's something so sinister, something so wrong here. And it's all based on because of the things that I brought up from the stupid dipshit in the duck lip photograph. Which is, we got a guy that's troubled. He's been rejected in his marriage, his family, his jobs. He's being chased by the FBI. He's been rejected by ISIS. He wants to be part of a group. He's trying to hang out at this nightclub Pulse. They probably don't like him there, too, and he's been trying to fit in, and he doesn't. For whatever reasons. And here you go. For everything that I laid down, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and an H, then you start to see the pattern develop. Why the FBI was saying the things that they were saying makes sense. Why ISIS hasn't propped this guy up as being the ultimate hero makes sense. Why his wife said the things that she said makes sense. The dad coming forward going, hey, I didn't know he may have been gay. I don't know. The dad knew. Why mention it unless there's something to it? Everybody, friends, co-workers, everybody that was ever around him, all have now stated the same things. So I ask you, is there something more here? With everything now that has been stacked up for all of us to take a look at, look, it's always the evidence. It's always the evidence. So, let's just start to pin these things to the wall and start to look at them and start to connect the dots a little bit. All right, I'm going to open up the phone lines. That's my response to Jon Rappoport and the false flag possibility. It's just kind of strange how if you take a really broad definition of false flag, right, and you drape it across the Pulse nightclub and you start to figure this out, how it could possibly fit together, and you start to look at this, it's funky. There are more things in the FBI files right now about this case than we'll ever know, and we'll never know. But I think we are closer now, and we are able to start to answer our own questions. And for the first time, like I just said to Rappaport, this is kind of out of their control now. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Tanner.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Where are you right now in the country?
Fort Myers, Florida.
Is it a beautiful night out there?
Very humid, but yes, beautiful, and I'm taking a patient to Michigan tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. There you go. What's up, Tanner? Okay, we've got a few minutes before the break, but what's on your mind tonight, my brother?
I just had a personal question for you, kind of, if that's okay.
Sure.
Because I kind of think of you as maybe, I can learn from what you've learned in the future. I can learn that right now, and help me accelerate.
Okay. Okay.
And it's like, do you think, with the things you've learned and the research you've done, are you working for some kind of like final puzzle? Are you putting the puzzle pieces together? Or do you think with wisdom comes, more open possibility? It's like the more you learn, does it just open up more questions, or are you working for one kind of answer, one truth?
Yeah, that's a very honest question, and I'll say this: for some reason, there were a couple of books that I had read that had nothing to do with conspiracies or lost civilizations and stuff like that when I was young. although I read all of the UFO material I could, and Eric Von Daniken and all of that stuff. But there were a couple of other books that I had read when I was very young, and one of them was the story of TWA and Howard Hughes. And I read that, and right after I read the book, and I was very young when I read it, I was like 9 or 10 years old, and then Howard Hughes dies, right? And then I started to hear the other side of Howard Hughes, which was the public side, and I had just finished this book, and I went, wait a minute, you know, we're being lied to, because there's this version of Howard Hughes, and then there's this other version of Howard Hughes, and I'm not going with what Time Magazine is saying. I'm not going there. I'm going with this other version. And so ever since then, from a very young age, I have always, and Rita and I, we've been together now 18 years. And let me tell you something. Every conversation that Rita and I have about the news is never about what we're hearing on the news. We attack it from every other direction, and we've always engaged like that. That's our mindset. What's the real truth?
Definitely.
What's the real truth? What's the real truth? And so when I apply that, Tanner, which is the second part of your answer that you had proposed here, does it open up more questions, right? And that's what I do. I take something and I look at the event, whatever it is. It's something as some object has been found in Egypt, or it's a plane crash in the Himalayas, whatever it is. You know, you just take the event and just take it and look at it, and then go and find your own answers off of that, because they're never the narrative that you were fed in the very beginning. And that's what I do. Yeah. And, you know, it's sport. It's sport. It's truly sport. It's fun. And it really teaches you a lot about life and what's going on in the world in a general sense. And that's how I deal. That's how I deal with the show. That's how I deal with my language. And that's how my brain works constantly. Things are never what they seem.
Definitely. Okay, well, thank you, and sorry for the personal question.
No, it's a great one, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Tanner. Be safe on your trip to Michigan.
Thank you. See you. Bye.
There you go. And that's how we just opened up the show. Now, there was there's another part to Tanner's thing that I have to comment on. When I was a kid in Panama, I lived on this Army base called Fort Amador. And my dad was in the Army band, and there were two members of the Army band that were young. They were probably in their early 20s, 20, 21 years old, that lived a couple of buildings away from us on this island. We lived in a house. They lived in Army housing, an apartment. Steve and Tree were their names. I believe husband and wife. I could be wrong, but they lived together. They had to have been husband and wife. But Steve and Tree actually signed my yearbook one year. The only people that weren't students or friends of mine, that were adults outside of the circle, that signed my yearbook. And Steve signed my yearbook with these words: Jimmy, things are never what they seem. Love, Steve. There you go. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Fader Night. Open lines, 323-825-5045.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Do you know what's in your body soap? Well, I didn't know the answer until about 5 years ago when I looked at the label of my soap and was shocked to see all the chemicals. For my entire life, I had been assaulting the largest organ of my body, my skin, and to think my children were using it too. Well, a lot has changed since then. Today, my family and I operate Stone City Farms, where we make and sell all natural goat milk soap using fresh goat milk from goats we raise on our farm. Our mission at Stone City Farm is to produce high-quality, all-natural goat milk soap for people who want a fresh, unrefined, natural product. At Stone City Farms, we offer scented and unscented soaps and a signature line of gift sets customizable to your needs. To see what our customers are saying, go to StoneCityFarm.com. Use the code NATURAL for a 20% discount. That's StoneCityFarm.com, code NATURAL for 20% off your order. You never know what could be hiding in your soap.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall, and it's out of here.
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With the mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. 323-825-5045. It's Thursday night. It's Fader night. It's your show. All right, couple of things. Check this out. 6 gold bracelets and a 7th made of silver comprise the largest collection of Viking treasure ever to be discovered in Denmark. That's right. And the trove wasn't even found by professionals. Check this out. 3 amateur archaeologists who make up the Team Rainbow Power found the gold with their metal detectors in a field in Jutland. Team Rainbow Power's gold bracelets ended up weighing a total of approximately 32 ounces, making it the biggest treasure of its sort to be discovered in all of Denmark. The gold dates back to around the year 900 and is styled as the sort of jewelry that would have been belonged to the Viking elite. Archaeologists don't know if the bracelets were buried in a ritual or hidden by someone only to never be retrieved. The pictures are over at our Facebook page for Jimmy Church Radio. Go and check it out. Absolutely amazing. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Eric.
Hey, Eric, how are you tonight, brother?
I'm doing good. Can we change it up just for a minute? I can give you a Kyle Odom update.
Yeah, you got something on Kyle? What you got?
I got some interesting stuff. Our friend Karen, a FADERNIGHT, we all know, she's actually in Idaho right now visiting family. She was tweeting with me earlier, and so I asked her, I said, is there any chance you can stop by the altar, which is the church Pastor Remington was shot at by Kyle Odom. So this is bizarre. So she's driving down the freeway, and apparently her windshield gets hit by a rock, so they'd have to pull over and find a place to get their windshield replaced. And the place they pulled over was 2 blocks from the altar.
Keep going.
She went over to the church, and it was open because they were having a women's meeting there. and she talked to a lady named Adele, and she was just kind of playing it along like she was there to get some information about the church and to see when Pastor Tim Remington would be back. And apparently he's scheduled to be back this Sunday, back preaching again. But here's what's interesting is this lady Adele told Karen that prior to the shooting, when Pastor Remington was giving his sermon, several times prior to, on several occasions, he was telling his followers that he was having dreams. And in those dreams, and this is what Karen told me, and in those dreams, he was prophesizing that he was going to be shot. And then not too long after that, it actually happened.
Wow.
So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
And then another thing that happened, a friend of mine who lives actually in Idaho about 2 hours from Coeur d'Alene, I was talking to him about the story, and he recalls, and this has been vetted, this is a true story, about 5 years ago, he and 3 of his friends were going to a mission. It was a healing mission that just happened to be held at the altar church. They weren't going to the church to have to be part of the the sermon or anything. But there was just a mission. The altar was loaning their church as part of this healing mission that was going on. So this blew my mind actually when he told me this. So what happened was Tim Remington was there at that time, and he was greeting people as they're coming through, shaking their hands. So this guy that I'm referring to, who doesn't want his name released at this time, but anyway, he walks in and he shakes Tim Remington's hand, and his exact words to me, and this blows my mind, is he says when he grabbed his hand, a feeling came over him as if he wanted to smash him in the face. And this was 5 years ago. And I just thought, wow, that's bizarre. So shortly, like an hour or so, there was a break during this seminar thing that they were having, this healing thing, whatever it was. So this guy and 3 of his friends left, and they decided, just all of them decided without even discussing it, that they weren't going to go back, that they were going to go to some other healing seminar that was happening at another church in a nearby town.
Right.
But and then it turned out a year later, they were together and they talked about it, and they all had the same feeling.
They wanted to smash somebody in the face.
Well, yeah, it's something about the energy, apparently, from this Tim Remington guy who they'd never met before, who they knew nothing about. This was way before Kyle Odom.
Right.
Created this something within them that made them, and this guy is not a violent person. He's made that very clear to me. He's not one of these people that's out to be violent or aggressive towards people. He's very kind of mellow, loving, easygoing person, and But he told me that story a few days ago for the first time. He hadn't told anybody that story, and I just wanted to relate it to you because it just kind of adds more pieces to the puzzle of possibilities.
Yeah, and also I want to go back to what you said. A rock broke a window in Karen's car. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Karen was driving down the freeway with her family member this morning, and somehow a rock popped up off the freeway from maybe a truck or whatever, and it smashed the windshield. So they had to stop and they had to get the windshield replaced. So and I had asked her even before. I asked her yesterday. I go, if you're going to be in Idaho, if you can go to Coeur d'Alene, go to this altar, take some pictures, see if you can meet anybody, and just see what's going on. So she said, yeah, if we're in the area, we'll do that. And they weren't going to probably stop, but then when the windshield got smashed, they pulled over, and they pulled over in Coeur d'Alene right off the freeway. And so I texted her the address, which was 901 East Best Street, and she looks it up on our GPS. She says it's 2 blocks from where we are.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, Karen, she's listening right now. She'll probably tweet that she'll confirm. But then they're saying that whoever this lady Adele was, who was at the church, was part of the group. She was saying that all the people there firmly believe that the reason why Pastor Remington, didn't die from receiving 6 point-blank shots was because God saved him, which may be true. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you know if Karen has got plans to go to the church on Sunday? Is she still going to be there?
I'll ask her. Yeah, believe me. I'm on it.
She's got to go to tell us if it's like, a congregation of the Stepford wives.
Well, okay, so here's more information. This guy because he lives in the town, the town next door to Coeur d'Alene. It's a small area, so he knows a lot of people who've lived there his whole life. So he hears what's going on in the community through his contacts and who he talks to. He's 47 years old. And he said that it's the people that he's talked to that have been there, it has a very cultish feeling to it. There's an energy about it that just. He has a website. If you ever want to look it up, the Altar Church. If you just type that in, the Altar, there is a website that they have. And I think Tim Remington has a son named Matt who runs the youth pastor services. So they have services there every day of the week, and during the week it's the youth services. And then Pastor Tim, apparently he was supposed to do it last Sunday, but his hand swelled up, as a result of the shooting or whatever. So, but he's apparently better, and he's going to. But what I plan to do, and this may sound nutty to you, but I plan sometime in September, October, hopefully September, is I'm going to do a road trip out there, and I'm going to go meet this person, and we're going to kind of go do the whole undercover visit of the church. If Karen isn't able to do it, I do plan to go out there. I just want to get a feel of it. And then if Kyle Odom, I don't anticipate he'll be able to have any visitors, but I kind of think he's going to take a plea bargain. I don't think it's going to go to trial. That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, if it goes to trial, then everything has to come out into the open, right? All the alien testimony, the reptilian testimony, what happened at the White House, Obama, all of that would come out in court. Now, that's if he takes a plea bargain, and they keep it out of court. If I'm Kyle and everything that I've said is true, well, then you take it to court. And then all of it has to come out, and that's what the government would fight for, and to prevent it all from coming out, suddenly other things happen. If he threatens to take it all the way, they just drop charges.
Or something mysterious happens. I mean, the story is kind of it reminds me of the story that we're talking about now with Orlando, and even Les Johnson tweeted, I mean, these events seem to happen like every week or two or three. There's these major events constantly happening. And then there's a new event, and then we forget about the event that happened a month ago because there's a new event we're paying attention to.
Well, that's always the case. But the other part of this with Kyle is, he intends on taking this to trial, and then suddenly he has a mysterious slip and fall, in the shower. Some jailhouse altercation, happens. They deem him insane, and they drop all charges, and they lock him in a mental hospital for the rest of his life. There's all kinds of things that would prevent testimony and the calling of government witnesses to have to take the stand and talk about these specific things that he brought out in his manifesto. So. It's going to be interesting however it plays out. I'll say this, though. I'm sure there's somebody listening to the show right now in Coeur d'Alene. Coeur d'Alene in Idaho has a population of about 45,000 people. And when you have a town like that, it's not quite even at city status. You know what I mean? It has 45,000 people. So in a situation like that, everybody in Coeur d'Alene knows everybody. You know the name of everybody in the city. You know where they live. You know where they work. You know what they do. That's just the part of living in a small town. And it's the great part about living in a small town, but also you don't get away with anything, right? You quite simply don't. Everybody is in everybody's business, and that's the joys of living in a town like that. Is you don't watch the local news. You just go hang out and have breakfast, and you get caught up on what's going on in town. That's your daily drama, and that's what's great about living in a small town. But everybody in Coeur d'Alene knows about the Altar Church. Everybody there knows what's going on. If it is something nutty, they know about it. If it's not, and we're all wrong, they also know about it. But you will be able to go into I don't know if you're going to get answers, but anybody that you talk to in Coeur d'Alene is going to know about this church, is going to know about Kyle Odom, is going to know about the pastor and the event and what led up to it and so forth. If it's something dark and sinister, like I said, the Stepford wives, right? They're all going to be in on it. Now, listen, Coeur d'Alene, I'm not saying anything at all negative. What I am saying is, and the people of Coeur d'Alene that are listening to this or may listen to this in the future, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, They know the truth. They know their town like the back of their hand, and they know all the residents there, and they know what's going on. They know the truth. Whether they want us to know about it or to talk about it or to find out about it is up to them and under their control. Nobody else is going to talk. Nobody else knows the truth except for Coeur d'Alene. And there you go. So I don't know. The whole story is sensational. It's crazy.
It is.
It's fantastical. It is completely, and
it's real. It happened. That's what's amazing.
Well, the shooting certainly happened. Him going to the White House certainly happened.
There's no false flag about that.
No, there's no false flag about him attending the church, or him going to school. All of this, these are facts. Now, his version of the story, how much of that is true? Some of it, all of it, I don't know. Is Obama a reptilian? I don't know. I don't know, but it's it's unbelievable, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say after you roll into town.
I think sometime this year we're gonna. The bulk of the story is going to come out. We're just kind of waiting. That's just one of those things. You just wait and see what's going to happen.
Karen showing up on church on Sunday morning, she's going to stand out like a sore thumb. She's got to play it back. She's got to dress the part.
Oh yeah, she tweeted me. She just kind of rolled in there and she said that she don't mind me. I got permission to repeat this, but she said she went there just real low key and said she's got some friends that are moving to the area. They're looking for a church. And so she wanted to get a brochure, and she just played real dumb, like she knew nothing about nothing. And then this lady, Adele, just spilled her guts about everything. To me, that's an amazing story. Pastor Tim Remington was telling people in his church prior to the shooting that he was having dreams. On 3 occasions he had dreams where he was predicting or prophesying he was going to be shot. That was spoken in his church.
Wow.
That's heavy.
Yeah, and the media is not talking about it.
No, they won't.
Yeah, interesting. Hey, Eric, thank you for so much. And when you get a hold of Karen, give her our best and tell her to be safe up there. You got to go incognito, not to ruffle too many feathers because we need information. All right.
All right. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too, Eric. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Interesting. Wow. So we have FADERNIGHTs everywhere. Yeah. 323-825-5045. Oh, Karen just tweeted, okay, it's on Sunday. And remember, Karen, I know you're listening to me. They know everybody in town, and they know everybody that shows up in church. They know everybody there. And the new person that comes in, you just got to play it cool. Play it cool. Just keep your eyes open, your ears open. That's all you got to do. Don't even say a word. Just get in and get out. That's it. We need you back here on Sunday night with a full report. All right. Oh, man. Did I say I love Starbucks? The National Security Agency is considering the idea of obtaining data from internet-connected biomedical devices like pacemakers. Yeah, Richard Leggett, the NSA's deputy director, said at a June 10th convention this past week in Washington, D.C., said, and I'm quoting here, we're looking at it sort of theoretically from a research point of view, end quote. Leggett described biomedical devices like pacemakers as, and I'm quoting here, another tool in the toolbox of snoops, end quote. He said that the information that could be obtained from biomedical instruments would be a signals intelligence bonanza, end quote. Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, and I reported on this last month, claimed internet-connected electronics could aid with identification, surveillance, monitoring, location tracking, and targeting for recruitment right? Catch you in the act, so they use the evidence against you to sign you up. Or to gain access to networks or user credentials. In a letter to Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon, Clapper highlighted some devices that the NSA would hack and could hack, including a refrigerator, a washing machine, or a child's toy. All of these could be used to seize data from a surveillance target, quoting Clapper. There you go. Scary, isn't it? If you have, if you're on hold, stay right there. If you have a device that can be connected to the internet, your toothbrush, yeah. Refrigerator, yeah. TV, yeah. Stuffed toy, baby monitor, yeah. Your washing machine, all of this stuff. Don't do it. Simply don't do it. Turn it off. Any Wi-Fi, any direct connect, anything like that, cut it off. I saw a picture the other day of Les's laptop computer, and he had a Band-Aid over the camera. Oh, which reminds me, yeah, I've got a camera right here on one of my laptops that's on facing me. I need to put a Band-Aid over that. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. You're live.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yes.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
All right, great. Hey, man.
Who's this?
Just talking about, this is Brandon from Boston.
Hey, Brandon.
Shout out to the Spreaker chat. What's up, man?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, a lot of issues to talk about. But first of all, going backwards, I guess, the Band-Aid over the camera, yeah, I was... all my techno friends tell me to put a Band-Aid over that thing, because you never know who can hack into it.
Yeah, because I pick my nose a lot,
Right.
It's not so much, I don't care if somebody catches me, wearing women's clothes, but you don't want to be caught picking your nose.
Exactly. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, voyeurism and, I get transparency, but there comes a point, right?
Right.
Where, you know what I mean? It's a very fine line. If you have nothing to hide, you know what I mean? But when it comes to the point of, people just voyeuristically just watching you just because, let's say you dated someone that works for the NSA and tried to recruit you, and then she hacks your phone. The next thing you know, you can't access your text messages, or she has control of your camera and all that stuff. It really happened.
Well, yeah, not only that, but there are people out there that just want to watch what other people are doing. They want to watch you eating your dinner. They want to watch, it doesn't have to do anything to do with sex or snuff films or, whatever craziness. It's not about, lighting farts. They don't care about that. They just want to have the ability to look into other people's lives and just see what they're doing.
You remember that crazy Sharon Stone movie in the 90s? I think it came out with a Baldwin. And he had this hotel or apartment complex, and he was just a voyeur.
Yeah.
And he had all camera. Oh, I forget the name of that movie.
I forget it too, but he had a camera in each apartment. Right.
Yeah, it had that UB40 song of "Can't Help Falling in Love with You."
Yeah. Ruined a really good song too, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know, right, man. So anyway, all right, let's get to, I guess, the bigger topic. One of that. And I've seen this. Jon Rappoport. My God, when you say, God bless him. When you say sleep with one eye open, yeah, you bet. You know what I mean? Because let me give it to you from my perspective. Woke up. All right, saw that NPR was live. Okay, yeah, I figured I'd click into it, see what was going on about the Orlando shooting. Okay, earlier this week. And, they're in their Washington. Here we are at the Washington, D.C. office, and gee, we hope, the Penguins, good luck to the Penguins. And I'm like, wait a second. And then they're showing off their office equipment, and their coffee mugs and whatnot. There's no emotion. When I hear your voice, when I hear you report on the news, the stuff, I hear your emotion, I hear your anger, I hear your frustration, like me. I was angry at NPR for not talking about what needs to be talked about. There are questions that need to be asked, right? So then they pan over and they're showing their research. All right, you'd think at like a big news organization they'd have like some really good reporting going on. Where are they? They're on Instagram. They're on Twitter. They're on Facebook. And this is the problem I have is that they're building profiles based on people's Facebooks. Now, I joke around with that stuff. You know what I mean? I don't take the social media too seriously unless I were to set up like an author page because they have to be kind of confidential in my work, right?
Of course.
HIPAA laws and things like that. Okay, so, but I'll have like, okay, I went to Hogwarts University, a fictional Harry Potter thing. Just a joke, make me laugh, make my students laugh, things like that people, not everybody would get. So I have a problem with people judging people based on social media. So very recently, I had somebody, very young, beautiful family member, say to me, Brandon, is something wrong with you? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just busy working, going to school. Same thing, I'm just really busy. Why? And she said, well, you haven't posted on your Facebook timeline, And I found that, like, ooh, are we really entering that age where, like you just go to someone's Facebook page and that's the reporting? This is like Jon Rappoport didn't just base his report on Facebook.
That's right.
He judged the whole picture, right?
Yes.
So, with the guy making the pucky face or the tucky duck face or whatever, I got your point on that, but using social media as like kind of like to build a profile and say that he was unstable and that you could say that about anybody. You know what I mean?
but my point, Brandon, and I really need to drive this home. When I say no self-respecting tough guy terrorist out to fight and kill and represent is going to post a picture like that. You know why? All of his self-respecting terrorist buddies are going to whip his ass, probably put a bullet in his head and leave his body somewhere floating in a river. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, 100%. Not even 99%. You're just not going to do that. Not only does it misrepresent what they stand for, right? But it's a definite judgment on your own character, and they don't want that in their circle. That's it. And if that's the case, or if he got caught doing that, then he got kicked out of that circle. There's a reason why they wouldn't let him in the circle. That's all that I'm saying here. And when you look and if you ever wonder why, well, go look at the duck lip picture. That's why. You're not going to be part of the, I'm just trying to think, the Jesse James gang walking around as a gunslinger with duck lips. It ain't going to happen. Hey, Brandon, I got to hit a commercial here. That was a brilliant phone call, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for taking it, Jim. God bless you.
Yeah, you too. Be safe out there. This is Fade to Black. Open lines all night long. 323-825-5045. Yeah, no duck lips in the James gang. I'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If your home has hard water and it's leaving white spots, then it's likely that limescale is clogging your pipes. Limescale can cost hundreds of dollars a year in wasted energy and early appliance breakdown. HydroCare systems available at Wave Home Solutions prevent and remove limescale with just a simple filter change every 3 years. There are no salts, chemicals, or magnetic coils. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, just go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Hi, I'm Richard Dolan. When I'm not hosting my radio program, The Richard Dolan Show on KGRA, or writing new books on UFOs, I run a publishing company. I'm proud to say that Richard Dolan Press has published some of the most fascinating books available on UFOs and related subjects. They include Dr. Bruce Maccabee's classic analysis of the UFO cover-up, David Marler's breakthrough book on triangular UFOs, Dr. Richard Sauter's unique work on underground bases, and other classics by Grant Cameron, Chase Kletsky, and Dr. Bob Wood, not to mention intriguing works by Eve Lorgan and Laurie MacDonald that deal with truly bizarre phenomena. I'm proud to publish such high quality and original works, and there are several amazing books about to be released over the next few months. Go to richarddolanpress.com to learn more.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Yeah. FADERNIGHT. Great phone calls. 323-825-5045. I am with all of the family and everybody else that's been affected in Orlando. It's been a tough week. Tough week for on so many different fronts for that city. The happiest place on earth, right? Okay. Now, if I want to hear what your thoughts are on that, too, by the way. Do you think that there's something crazy going on with the FBI once again? And is this some definition of a false flag once again? Could it be? I hope not. I just hope it was some lone deranged doofus. And, that's but it's not panning out that way. I'm reserving judgment until we get some more evidence, but man, oh man, feels a little funky to me here in the bunker. 323-825-5045. And look, I just apologized in one of the chat rooms. I'm angry. And as you know, I've been doing this show for years, and I refrain from the potty mouth. But I'm angry right now. And sometimes I just let myself get away from what should be right, because I know that there are kids listening to the show, families listen to the show, and you guys gather around the fireplace and fire up what you need to fire up to listen to the show, and then you got to hear stuff like that. So, But, I'm angry like the rest of us. But I'll keep it in check. Okay, don't get your hopes up like Jimmy's finally here. He's going to let it all hang out. No, it's not that kind of show. All right, check this out. Some more news that you know nothing about. A private cargo ship left the International Space Station on June 14th, and it will soon host the biggest fire in space. Yeah. A robotic Cygnus spacecraft, which was built by Virginia-based company Orbital ATK, undocked from the ISS at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, at about 2:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, when the freighter is a safe distance from the ISS. Controllers on the ground will deliberately light a large fire inside Cygnus to test how flames spread in microgravity. They're going to film it. The fire I'm not making this up, by the way. It makes you wonder why this hasn't been done before. But the fire experiment, called the Spacecraft Fire Experiment -1, or Sapphire 1, will spark the biggest human-made fire in space. The investigation will gather information that could help protect astronauts on long-duration missions, because fire is deemed one of the most top risks for disabling a spacecraft or another space station. I'm not making this up, and I cannot wait. Now, a couple of things come to mind. Number one, didn't Bigelow just inflate a room in space, right? They tested that, and they inflated this hotel room and did that. Now, why not burn that? If you know what I mean. Light that sucker on fire. Fire that out into space, and let's see what happens with that in a vacuum. That's the first thing that I thought about. Second, fires in space that happen inside, it's interesting, because if there is any breach in the hull, vacuum, no oxygen, there's going to be no fire, right? And if there's an explosion in space, it never happens like what you see in Star Wars or whatever. There's no explosion in space. It's a vacuum. There can't be an explosion. And I'll tell you what else there isn't in space. There isn't sound. That doesn't happen either. So there is no, no, that doesn't happen. If something expands out in space or tries to expand, it gets sucked back into nothing. So it would be just, that's what's interesting. That wouldn't be that much fun in a Hollywood production is, when you're shooting at another spaceship and it explodes. It doesn't explode. It goes, that's what it does. It goes in the opposite direction. You might see a little flash of something, but it would be a blip. And that's not fun to watch in Hollywood. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, how you doing tonight, Jimmy?
Oh, hey, Dino, what's up?
I want to talk with you about two things, but before I do that, just a quick point. Are you aware on the internet that some of the sites are claiming that what you and Rita and the folks saw was a mass hysteria and hallucination? I couldn't believe it. I read it somewhere a couple of days ago. So that's it was mentioned, I think, on another program.
Yeah. Well, whoever said that is, I'm going to go back to a politically incorrect statement. Okay, anybody that says that is a retard. Okay, good. So
good.
And you can quote me on that because, quite frankly. Let's not only the amount of witnesses, but it was on two different nights, number one. Number two, with anybody out there, anybody at all, right, that says anything about it and they weren't there, okay, that's it. That's the end of the discussion. You were not there. I saw what I saw, and that's the end of the story. Nobody's ever going to change it. That's it.
You know what you saw. And in addition, you were in around a military family, so as you said, you know how to identify your run-of-the-mill aircraft.
Well, that has not. I appreciate that, Dino, but that has nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Okay, you could have somebody from a frigging island in the Pacific that has never seen an airplane before in their lives and wouldn't know how to identify anything, and take them out there and show them that, and they're going to say the same thing that we saw. You know, that's it. That's it. That's it. I'm not saying it was us or them or anything. I have only stated what I saw, and I can't explain it. That's the end of the story. And anybody that wants to say, oh, you know, church and, you know, everybody out there, mass hysteria, hallucination, you know, whatever, doofus. You know, that's it. They're just trying to, just like I love it, Dino, seriously. I love it when somebody wants to criticize this program, wants to criticize Ancient Aliens, wants to criticize something on History Channel, wants to criticize a documentary, wants to criticize somebody's book. They're only doing that for their own ego. They're not doing it for any other reason. They're doing it to feed themselves. That's all, to make themselves achieve some form of narcissistic self-importance. That's all. That's it. That's it. So that's as far as that goes. And that goes for anybody.
And their own ignorance of the event, that they're showing their own ignorance. Well, if I could, the main 2 points I wanted to talk about is what you talked about earlier, and that is this attack in Orlando, this horrible mass shooting. First off, you know, how do we trust the media? I mean, I keep hearing different stories. First, they were running it on PBS and everywhere last week as a hate crime against gays. I mean, it is kind of, but they made that the primary focus. Then a few days later, I kept reading and hearing on programs, well, this guy was associated with Islamic terrorists, with ISIS. Now you're telling me, oh, no, it's not with ISIS. And the FBI had him in their shot. So we've got all these different stories. What are we to believe? I wasn't in Orlando. I don't know who this guy is. You know, I don't know if he's gay or not. If he was, fine. It looks like the evidence is there. But the real question behind all this, what is the motive? Any good investigator that's a cop or anybody looks for a motive. So what is the motive for all this?
I don't know. Could be an ex-boyfriend. You know, could be an ex-boyfriend, and he was just upset. You know, could be that. You know, there's a reason why al-Baghdadi over in Raqqa, Syria right now has not put this guy on the cover of ISIS magazine. There's a reason. Now, if you think about that for a second, there's a reason for that. And I don't know what it is, but they have distanced themselves from this guy. And that's it. That they don't want anything to do with what happened in Orlando. And I'm not, this isn't me in my imagination. It is the reality of the situation. Because if al-Baghdadi, you know, doofus and Raqqa, chose to do that, it would be all over the media. It would be all over the internet.
Yeah,
and
right.
And it's not there. It is simply not there. So that's the end of that. If they really, you know, there would be an audio tape right now. There would be a videotape of al-Baghdadi shouting to the hills about how proud he was for the fight, bringing it, and it's not there. Why? Duck lips. Duck lips.
Yeah. Well, this is when these types of things have been happening more and more lately, it does seem like we're stepping up, and that maybe they're not telling us that there are more terrorist attacks. So when I hear things like this, I go back to the original things that woke me up, the JFK assassination and 9/11. I initially believed both those stories, the official explanation, until you have to take time, and a lot of people don't want to do it, till you research things and you look for the truth. So, you know, I don't know what is going on anymore. I mean, you don't want to be a paranoid person, but it sounds like we're never getting the real reason. And that goes back to these things of paid actors, you know, crisis actors that we've heard about. And some people say, oh, it's all ridiculous. But in so many of these shootings and stuff, if they're willing to sacrifice, 3,000 people in 9/11, maybe they're willing to shoot women and kids and people, to whoever these conspirators are, to get something they want. And when you have guests on your show that tell us it's everything from, it could be the reptoids to other seeming sane people tell us about the Hubrids, it makes you wonder what the heck is going on in our world nowadays.
Well, yes, it does, but also we have been so conditioned to accept the narrative. And now when the narrative is so fragmented, and it's certainly in the case of Orlando, where you have the talking heads of CNN that can't even agree, right, about what's going on. The talking heads on Fox that can't agree, because none of what they want this story to be is not what it's playing out to be. They want it to be this guy being a radicalized ISIS guy receiving direct instructions from Syria. That's what they ultimately that's exactly what they want this thing to be, because it'll be a story that would last forever. And it's not playing out that way. And that's what we are attuned to is getting our narrative from the mass media. And it's not playing out that way this time around. It's not there.
And it's not. And then you could count on one hand how every interest group is using this. Okay, the heavy gun control people are using this now in Congress. I sent in an email today to my congressperson because they're trying to put increases on gun control. This is another excuse. Then you look at the terrorists, they're isolating themselves from this, but secretly they're probably pretty happy that even though they don't want this guy associated with them because of the gay issue, they're probably happy, oh good, we got an attack in America. Another coup for us. Then you count on the other finger, who else does this benefit? Well, people in the gay community that have been oppressed for so long, this is a chance to get their issues out there, and the lesbian, gay, transgender community. So this is what I hate. Every time a story comes out nowadays, in America especially, but in Europe, it's like, let's turn it around to our advantage. And it might have nothing to do with that, is your issue.
Well, and the reason for the not only the inconsistencies out of Washington and politicians, and certainly with the FBI and Obama and McCain and Hillary and Trump, they have caused this. The reason why we're raising all of the concerns that we have about the true story behind this is because we've never been told the truth. So we're looking at this situation right now with a different mindset and different eyes. We're trying to find out the truth for ourselves. And in this case, because it happened in this country the way that it did and at the wrong nightclub for them, all of this is there's so much truth coming out from so many angles that they can't control, that we are now figuring things out for ourselves. And that when as information is coming at us, and then we turn around and we listen to what we have been told, and the reason why Hillary is calling for gun control out of the gate, and Trump is yelling at all Muslims are bad and we need to shut down the borders. That is two different stories. And neither of those positions that those two are taking fit the narrative of what is coming out of Orlando now. It just doesn't. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit with what Hillary. So what do we? It's us going, wait a minute. You're supposed to have the answers. You guys are running for office. You guys are running for POTUS right now. And what you are saying, both of you right now, doesn't fit the answers that we need out of Orlando. And so it's their fault. There's a reason why we're not embracing Hillary's position on this, or we're not embracing Trump's position or McCain's position or Obama's position, questioning the FBI, because none of it makes sense. Nobody's telling us the truth, and it would be amazing if Trump or Hillary could step forward and go, okay, you know what, this is what happened. This is what I would like to do. We need to sit down and figure out these issues together as a country, and let's move forward. But they're never going to say that.
No, they're grandstanding. And another point you brought up that just I wanted to bring out, how come the FBI, you were talking about the FBI interviewing the guy twice, they can't do anything about it. And if it's true, I read on the internet today that a guy who owned a gun store there, that their employees refused to sell the guy guns. They saw he was a weirdo.
Well, I think it was about, I didn't see that. I did see the
Yeah,
report.
it's on the internet. They actually showed a form, unless it's fake, that said denied because he wanted to buy body armor.
Yeah,
and
the
as well
body
as
armor.
ammo.
Yeah, the body armor. Yeah, I read that. It wasn't about guns, but and he was only in the store for less than a minute, and then he turned around and walked out. Yeah, I saw.
But what my point is, the employees in a gun store had enough sense. They didn't like what he was asking and the way he was acting about he didn't talk to them in the right way, so they kicked him out.
Well, they
but
didn't
the
even.
FBI can't do that.
But that's true. But they didn't even sell the body armor. Nobody does that he was asking for. The level 3, that's military grade, and it's not for sale in the public.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
No, and they did not even offer. I mean, they didn't, and they couldn't. But and so anyway. But back to that's actually a really, really good point, though. But I'll say this. Why didn't, and this is where complicity and responsibility should always come into play. Some guy comes walking in to your gun shop and is asking for something that you don't sell, like a level 3 military grade body armor. Dude, you get his frigging license plate number and you call the police.
Yeah.
And right there before he pulls out of the parking lot, because that guy needs that stuff, not because he is, going to play Santa at the local mall on during Christmas holiday season. That's not why you need that stuff or why you want that stuff. And that's where you need to be responsible as a gun store, because people are coming in. Let's not beat around the bush. Gun stores are very crazy places. Okay, you do have the occasional guy coming in wanting to buy a deer rifle. He wants to go squirrel hunting, and he's buying that kind of stuff, right? And then you have the guys coming in wanting 100-shot clips of body armor piercing NATO ammo, right?
Yeah.
and wants to figure out how to convert his AR-15 to full auto. Okay, now that goes on in gun shops every single day. Those conversations go on. Hey, man, I know about this mod, and you can purchase it on the internet, man. You get your AR-15 and you just bolt it in here with a one screw, and the next thing you know, man, you got full auto. Are you kidding? Really? Yeah, man. You got to check this website out, man. Now, I'm not saying I've ever been into a gun shop and I've had that conversation, or I've tried to figure out how to convert a full auto AR-15 because I don't own one, right? But I assure you, the guys that subscribe to Guns and Ammo magazine have those conversations.
Yeah.
I would. If I had an AR-15, right, with a night scope, maybe I want to try to fire that at full auto once to see what that experience is like. I get that. I understand it. But if those conversations go down, you need to weed out who you think is a little bit nutty or not. Because
this is the point. It goes back to the very reason they told us we needed the Patriot Act. And the Patriot Act is supposed to protect us. And yet what you and I are just talking about makes more sense to me. I feel safer if at the level of a sporting goods or a gun shop, if these guys could start turning over suspicious guys' license plates or licenses to the FBI before they even sell them a gun. If they kick them out, we might catch more terrorists than we would with the Patriot Act.
Well, again, you have to draw the line somewhere, and no gun shop guy is going to want to have the reputation of turning people in. right? Because you're not going to sell any guns after
true.
that. You're not going to sell any ammo. So I understand that. But they also know, and because they know their customers, they know somebody that smells a little bit funky. You know, and if it smells a little bit funky to you, like a guy coming in asking for level 3 or whatever it's called, you know, body armor that they don't even sell, you know what? Maybe you just want to write down his license plate number and make an anonymous phone call to 911.
Yeah.
I'm just
well, I don't
saying.
want to sound like a Nazi, and I don't want to become like a Nazi state, but this is what the government was asking us a few years ago. You be on the alert, citizens. You tell us if something suspicious on your bus or your subway, or if you see someone, you know. But in a way, I would feel safer with that than having the Patriot Act and spying on everybody.
Well, and let's look at this from a realistic position here. This gun shop owner now knows that a guy that killed 49 people was in his shop and he did nothing about it. Okay? Now he has to sleep with that, and that sucks. So, and do we say, you know, learn from experience? Now, the next time somebody comes in and ask about, well, you know what? Yes. But he also knows that he had this doofus in his grasp, you know, and he didn't do probably what his conscience was telling him at that time was, you know what, man, I think I need to call the police right now, you know, but he didn't. And that's the truth. And I'm not putting any blame on anybody here. I am certainly not, because you really can't. And it's not his job. It's not his job to be the police. It's not. But in a case like that, just maybe he should have acted on his gut instinct, because they ran him out of the store for a reason, you know. Now, I'm not saying anything, you know, I am so proud of this country and our ability to bear arms and to defend our family and all of that. I will never advocate taking away our guns, because the reason why this country is armed, why the civilians in this country are armed, it's not to defend your family. That's part of it. It's to keep Washington in check.
Yes.
That's why. And our founding fathers wanted to make sure that our government did not run amok. And if they started to get outside of the box, that the citizens of this country would have the ability to keep them in check. That's the reason for the Second Amendment. The reason
I agree
for this
100%.
Yeah.
And the thing is, right there, excuse me, Jimmy, but right now, today, I didn't see the results. They were voting on saying, well, let's ban automatic rifles again. So those of us who own automatic, semi-automatic, legal rifles, what happens when they make them illegal? Are they going to give you money back for them? Do you turn them in? I mean, what do you do? They're not given any kind of a sunshine clause.
No, Dino, now you're fear-mongering. It's never going to come to that.
Well, no, but you said a few months ago that it was never going to happen in this country, that you don't see them taking away guns. Let's not even discuss it. I'm beginning to wonder, with some of the legislation they're trying to push today, I was watching the live Congress feed,
Dino,
what are they going to do if they do outlaw?
Dino, you quit watching the television, damn it.
No,
Okay,
this was
first
the live
off,
feed from Congress.
yeah, quit watching, because you have amnesia. What you are talking about comes up every single month of every single year of the history of this country. This is nothing new. This gun control has been talked about forever, decades. This is nothing new. Okay, so that part of it, nothing is going to change, and it shouldn't change. Okay, there are reasons why the Second Amendment is there, and it's not going to get changed. It's never going to get changed. The Second Amendment, if it gets, is exactly why our founding fathers put the Second Amendment in there to begin with. So it's not going to ever go anywhere, and this country understands that. The fact that after every single tragic event happens, and look, if I had a family member that was at Pulse and died, or in San Bernardino and died, or at Fort Hood and died, I'd be up right now. I'd be questioning, too, the right to back, because I was directly affected by it. But the bigger picture is plain and simple. The Second Amendment is there for a reason. Now, if you want to take this argument past that to an AR-15 or an AR-15 that is fully automatic, who needs a fully automatic AR-15 unless you're going to go invade Fallujah? Okay, there's no reason for that. There's no reason to have a grenade launcher on your AR-15. And you can do that too as well. I've seen them. Who in their right mind puts a grenade launcher in? You don't need that duck hunting. Okay?
Unless I see what your point, you've made this point, but unless we believe some of the people who have been on your very show, some of the guests that tell us that there are super soldiers and that there is an element of the government that wants to put us in concentration camps at some point. They have automatic weapons. Maybe some people want them. I don't want them, but somebody might find a need to have that.
Man, I just blew past a commercial break.
Yeah, I'm sorry I did that.
That's okay. But man, it sounds like you're listening to the wrong internet shows when you're not listening to Fade to Black. All right, brother. Thank you so much for the phone call, Dino.
All
Be
right,
safe
it was
out
a
there.
wonderful conversation. Have a good week.
You too. This is Fade to Black. Man, why do you guys want to get me all fired up? I love it. It's Fade to Black. Fader Night. It's your night. 323-825-5045. Sorry, network. I blew right past it. I'll be right back taking more of your calls.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds, and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got. Nature's Youth and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest, who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook, and you'll be included in contest and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The two full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? 323-825-5045. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. use the hashtag F2Beat. I'm going to say this right now. I have not seen Twitter explode more than it has tonight, and the chat room as well. And I looked over at one of the chat rooms, and it went blank as I looked at it. I was like, oh, my God. Oh, no. I panicked, and I had to click a couple of times, but it came back. So there you go, man. I almost had a heart attack. 323-825-5045. You guys got my blood boiling tonight. You did a good job at doing that. But I think that the entire country right now is freaking out. And if we go back and think about the mood of what it was like here for months after 9/11, it was a strange place to be here in the United States, wasn't it? And I have to say that Paris freaked me out. Both Paris attacks freaked me out. San Bernardino freaked me out. But on the heels of everything that is going on around the world and this stupid election that we're in the middle of, and everything else, China and North Korea and just missing airliners and just craziness, and then boom, Orlando happens. I think it affected all of us. I mean, truly. And it wasn't just the Pulse nightclub. It was what happened the night before. And right after, and it all happened in Orlando. What were the odds, And I think it changed the mood of all of us. And we turn around, and for me, I mean, this is just me speaking, but we turn around with everything emotionally that we're dealing with as Americans, and to see the BS come out of Washington like we did, I mean, just floods of it, was just shocking. And at a moment when all of them could have actually put themselves in check and just said the right things for once, it was an opportunity right there. And it didn't happen. It did not, and continues not to happen. And it also puts everything in a focus about how ridiculous Washington is, how ridiculous this run for the Oval Office really is, how ridiculous these candidates are for the office, really are, and that they can't really manage to even say the right thing. Shocking, isn't it? And it just puts it all into perspective. How ridiculous this run for the White House really, really is. There's more important things going on out there, and we all know that. And they can't even manage to let us know that they care. They would rather fight amongst themselves and point fingers at themselves than actually sit down and deal with the issues that are going on in this country. And it's true. It's really true. To have, for somebody like me that grew up when I turned 18 and I had the opportunity to vote, and Reagan's in office, and I don't know if I'm Republican, if I'm a Democrat, if I'm an independent, if I'm communist, if I'm socialist, if I'm an American. I'm 18. I'm a doofus. I don't know anything. I'm just starting off in this road in life, and I don't know what to do, and I'm looking for direction, right? And from my frame of mind back then to where I am today, I'm more confused today on all of those issues than when I was 18. And so today, to see somebody like John McCain say the stupid things that he did today, it's shocking. They don't know what's going on. It's like a serious game of like asteroids or bumper pool. I mean, they're just, those brains and mouths are colliding into each other in Washington. They're all over the place. They don't have a clue about what reality is. And they're saying the things that they think we want to hear. And right now, today, it's not. It's not. McCain, the one guy that we've always kind of looked at for, being, a little bit rational, a little bit sane for a lot of reasons. He's been through a lot in his life. To turn around and say those things today and then to have to backpedal and go, well, I said it out of context. I really didn't mean. No, you really meant it. Because you don't know what you're saying. And you're saying now that you don't know what you're saying. It's crazy. This show is not a political show, folks. It is not. But it is certainly a show about we are living in a world right now that is not reality. And our fearless leaders are showing us just that. All right. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. It is Fader Night. And I'm sorry. I don't mean to go political. I don't. But when we have an issue right now that we really need to come together and deal with right now, we need somebody to help us. Hold our hands and guide us and put this thing back together. And it's not happening. Twitter announced today, now talking about living in a bubble. Listen to this. Twitter announced today that it would allow emoji keyword targeting for advertising on Twitter. Now, before you wonder if I said what I just said, I did say that. Emoji keyword targeting. For example, when users tweet a pizza or a chicken drumstick, marketers of similar products, say someone like Pizza Hut or Kentucky Fried Chicken, can make sure that people will now see their ads based on your emoji use. The emoji for crying with laughter was Oxford University's 2015 Word of the Year. Now, I have never, not once, ever, never have ever used one. Never done it. I see them, don't do it. Tempted, don't do it. I do not emoji. Reports now say that 92% of people online use those characters. 92%. I'm one of the 8% that not only doesn't use them, but I have never used them. And you may go and search every tweet, every post, every Facebook, every email, any text on a phone, anything by me, anywhere, ever, and it will never have a smiley face or anything else, a drumstick. But more than 110 billion emojis have been tweeted in Twitter. Just tweeted, not everything else, just tweeted since 2014. 110 billion just in Twitter in a year and a half. Now, put that in your pipe and smoke it. And before you think you're being cute or emotional, Big Brother is watching you. Think about that the next time you tweet out a slice of pizza, a smiling face, a sad face. And then they're going to connect that with what you just tweeted. And your advertising is going to come at you. Crazy. The Senate Armed Services Committee messed up today. Now that we're talking about Washington all night and the military all night long. Check this out. They just issued a severe blow to transparency. And not only to transparency, but transparency to us and fiscal responsibility. And I know it's the Department of Defense and it's Washington, D.C., and it's the Pentagon, and sometimes we tend to expect this kind of stuff. But in a closed-door vote, they eliminated a requirement to disclose the development cost of the Air Force's new B-21 stealth bomber. That's right. They eliminated the requirement to disclose the cost. Now, I ask you, how can they do this? Doesn't even sound legal, does it? But there's more to the story, of course. That's why you're here. The committee members voted 19-7 to prevent the American people from knowing how much of their money will be sunk into the B-21 weapons project. Listen to me. Last year, the Air Force told Congress that the program would cost $33.1 billion. Okay, I get that. It's B-21, new stealth bomber. We got to do it. It's expensive. $33.1 billion in the big scheme of things when we're dealing with trillions of dollars. Okay, all right. I get that. Then, this year, they updated their estimate to $58.4 billion. An increase in 1 year of $25 billion, or 76%. Now, if that doesn't smell fishy enough for you, and when I see $33.1 billion and then I see $58.4 billion, I don't see 76%. I see double. That's what I see. My eyes see double. I round those numbers off, 30 billion to 60 billion. They're lucky that their hard math is 25 billion and it comes out to be 76%. But I see a double of cost in a year. But this is where things get really smelly. Do you remember my report yesterday about Lockheed Martin, okay, and their servers and their server farm that maintains the database for the Air Force? Remember that story yesterday? What did I report, folks? That they lost all of the data for the Air Force that dealt with fraud, whistleblowers, and accounting and responsibility. All of the data that went back to 2004. That's 12 years. And not only that the cost of all of this specific project, is Lockheed Martin. And they're maintaining the servers for the Air Force that dealt with, allegedly, fraud. But now we never know. Now, not only is the fox, right, guarding the hen house, but think about what the implications are here. That they just said that they need to double the cost of the B-21. And all of the fiscal responsibility and fraud and everything else that was detailed in all of the Air Force's projects, all of the data mysteriously disappeared on Lockheed Martin's own servers that they were maintaining for the Air Force. Now, there is something way off here. And before you say there's something way off, there was no backup. Computer 101, if you own a server farm, if you have a computer, if you have a laptop, if you have a cell phone, you back up your shite. But no, apparently Lockheed Martin, who is dealing with the budgets on these black projects, didn't back up their servers that they were running for the Air Force. None of this, to any rational person, makes any sense, and nobody should buy this story. And after all of that, after saying that, when you hear that the Air Force's biggest client and biggest supplier of the most top secret projects for the Air Force, right, is also the same company that is running the servers for the Air Force, I'm sorry, there's some collusion here. Basic collusion. There is no way that we should have this be the case. It's not even legal, but certainly that is exactly what's going on. And after all of that, to have Lockheed Martin come back and say, well, it was a basic computer failure and we don't have backup. The data is just lost. Somebody needs to go to court. Somebody needs to go to jail. Something here is not right. They are hiding something, both the Air Force and Lockheed. And then today to come out with, hey, we need to double the cost of the B-21. It just doesn't make any sense. And this is the crazy part. Before you think that you are taking crazy pills, it's actually true. Everything that I just laid out in the last 2 days is 100% fact. Hey, Les, what's up, brother?
Hey, man. How you doing? Had to call in by phone tonight. My Wi-Fi just crashed 1 minute before I was supposed to call.
Oh, really? Well, that's because they knew that you were coming in.
Of course.
You know, check this out. Check this out. And all this talk about ISIS tonight and gayness, right? And not, you know what's really upsetting to me is that all of these, great, proud, the gay community right now has to deal with this tard. It just brings down, and they have to step down to that level in the conversation. And it's just wrong. But there's somebody out there doing something about it. Check this out. And you got to love it, too, because ISIS members right now are tweeting things like, and I'm not making this up, and I'm quoting here. This is a tweet that went out today. Hello, world. This is from ISIS. Hello, world. It's time I share with you a little secret. I'm gay, and I'm proud. Right? And I read the tweet, and I'm like, wait a minute. And it's not a tweet you would expect from a Twitter account belonging to any ISIS member, right? I get that. But when the account itself, it was hijacked by a hacker who goes by the name Whatchula Ghost, right? The profile name on Twitter, which originally referenced jihad, has been replaced with Jacked by a Ghost, right? That's great. Yeah, I know. And the signature of the hacker who's waging this online campaign, his name is Wachula Ghost, Jacked by a Ghost. So this guy, over the past month, has hacked over 250 Twitter accounts associated with ISIS members and replaced the content with pornography and gay pride messages. And this was all.
Oh, they gotta love that.
Yeah. All of this was before Pulse. This is before Orlando, and it's just brilliant timing, right? And it turns out that him and his buddies have been replacing all of the ISIS flags with rainbows and gay couples embracing. And I love every minute of it. I've seen, I know. I've seen all of it, man. And I was checking it out today, and I was never so proud. But as it turns out, that Wachula Ghost, him and his buddies have found, and they're not sharing it with anybody, but they found a way in to anybody's Twitter account. And these guys are the good guys, right? But because they have found a way in that's really easy, that's it. All bets are off. They're out there trolling. They're out there finding any jihad ISIS Twitter account, and they can do it like that. They just go in, take over the account. And this is the other thing. They found the vulnerability. But there's something else that they are able to do. They are able to private message, right? So these guys, these ISIS dudes out there are getting PMs. Hey, man, what's up? Pretty good, man. We're here in Raqqa, in underground. Oh, really?
Oh, shit.
Well, yeah, well, I'm over here, and we're out of water. Oh, man. Okay, we'll send you guys some water. Yeah, did you guys get paid last week? No, we didn't, but we hear that we're going to get paid this week. Okay, cool, man. How's the family? Family's good. Okay, good. Hey, man, you want to come over here and play butt darts with me? What? because me and my other bros over here, right? We're all getting
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, we're all getting together tonight, and we're gonna do some crazy stuff. And we just want to know if you Rakabros want to come over and hang out, and they're able to do this when these guys think that they're talking to somebody else, and these accounts are being totally taken over. So now they're private messaging everybody else in the circle. It's lovely, man. It is just absolutely awesome.
Yeah, because you know what? It's not like these jihadists or these ISIS guys can freaking complain to Twitter that their accounts have been hacked. It's brilliant.
No, and they can't, and they won't. No, they're not going to say, they can't admit to it. And now, this is the crazy thing. They don't know who they're talking to. They don't know. And when you take over 250 Twitter accounts, right, from active ISIS members in Syria, and you start posting this stuff, and you're tweeting, and you're private messaging these guys, they don't know. And now they don't know if their own accounts have been taken over. They don't know. Mm-hmm. It's lovely, man. It is the coolest thing ever.
I wonder if they this ghost hack guy, or this ghost guy, or these guys have gotten a knock on their front door by a local 3-letter saying, "Hey, we want your information now. We want these accounts."
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible, but you know what? This campaign that they are waging is better than and more effective than anything a 3-letter could do. So
that's right, because it gets them the hell off their Twitter account and spouting hate.
Well, and also it takes manpower to do that. And you know what? Let them have at it. I'm sure that that's exactly what's going on. I absolutely love every second of it. I couldn't believe it. I was looking at these posts today. I had access to a little bit of it, and I was watching it. I was dying. I was just dying.
Dude,
these pictures and oh man, every
I haven't had a laugh like that since CITD.
Yeah, right.
I needed that. Thank you.
Yeah. Every ISIS flag is replaced with a gay pride flag. So
that's fabulous.
And they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. They have the access, and I doubt that this back door is going to be shut down anytime soon by Twitter. So there you go. So anyway, great week. We've got a great week lined up next week, Les. It's going to be amazing. We leaked out a little bit of it. We've got Nick Redford on next week, and we have William Henry coming in next week, and we have a super-duper surprise guest lined up. And next week is going to be one of the biggest weeks ever, as if we needed to top this week. So with that, Les, I hope all is well, and get us out of here, brother, with a smile.
All right. Special thanks to Jon Rappoport and to all the first-time callers and FADERNIGHTs who phoned home tonight. Fade to Black executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Special thanks to LJ3, that's me, Renee, Jonas, Mark. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Brother Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Pateau, and Mark D. Kovar. Fadey by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, syndication on KGRA. And with that, for the week, Jimmy and I are out of here.
Thank you so much, Les. You are the man. LJ3.
Thanks. Good night.
Be safe. Want to thank John Rappoport for coming in tonight. His website is nomorefakenews.com. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. Cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me right now on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. I want everybody to be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.